Welcome into the Beat Sessions. I'm your host, Mitchell Weary. It is Friday, February 11th, and what a Friday it is. I am so pumped for this weekend of music. We have new albums from Alt J, Eddie Vedder, Joy Wave, just to name a few. Ms. Mary J. Blige has also dropped a new record. I'm really excited to check that out and to review it for all of you, but I'm even more pumped about the prospect of maybe hearing one of those songs at that epic Super Bowl halftime show that's lined up for Sunday. Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Eminem, Mary J. Blige, and Kendrick Lamar will all be there. If you didn't know that was going down, I don't know where you've been. Probably not on planet Earth. But now you have that information, and if you're at all interested, I hope you get to tune in. I got to admit, though, me personally, the thing I'm most excited about this weekend is this brand new Spoon album. I love this record. It's entitled Lucifer on the Sofa, and it is their 10th studio album. It's their first effort in 5 years, follows 2017's Hot Thoughts. And Britt Daniel is just one of those guys that I would argue for the last 30 years has been one of the most consistent forces in music. He is just phenomenal, and I love the distinct nature of his voice. I've always really enjoyed his vocal performances, and I would say that this band's success really has been predicated on the fact that they've been able to cultivate a very distinct sound. You know when you're listening to a Spoon record. I love the way that they explore different pockets of music within all those records. It just makes for great listening experiences time and time again. But I want to give a shout out to drummer Jim Eno. I think that him being there every step of the way with Britt the last 30 years has really lent itself to consistency. I think the dynamic and the relationship that's been allowed to develop there has allowed these guys to, bring this project together. And I think of Smashing Pumpkins. I think of the way that Billy Corgan really controlled the creative direction of that band, but I don't think they would have been what they are without Jimmy Chamberlin. And I feel the same way with Spoon. I don't think that Britt Daniel would have the success that he has had without Jim Eno there on the Skins. So it's great to have him. I love his performance on this record, and I just love the overall feel of this record. This thing is arguably going to be one of the best records of the year. This just is everything I want in a rock and roll record. 10 solid songs. You got a solid 40-minute runtime. I will say that fans of Spoon's earlier sound are probably disappointed with the shift away from some of the experimental stuff that marked their earlier music. But this record is just, there's so much going on here. The continuity of the record, the way the songs transition into one another, just the upbeat feel, the energy. This sounds like a band that after 5 years just feels reinvigorated. They feel refreshed and just ready to keep on making music. I'm excited to check these guys out live because I think all of these songs are going to fit very well into a live set, and I think that these songs in this album as a whole really is a reflection of that energy when they're putting on a live show. And so that's really what I'm loving about this album. It opens up with the song Held, which is actually a cover of Smog. That's Bill Callahan. He performs under that moniker. But this song it's just a phenomenal cover. And I love the way that they're not doing too much to really, change the song, but they're kind of just giving it a unique feel and style that lends itself to what you're going to get for the next 9 songs on this record. It's just got this great intro, drums and guitar, and honestly, there's this loose vocal element. You can hear Britt kind of just like directing in the background. This thing opens up like a classic Spoon record, so I like that feel of the opener. It's got an excellent riff, and it's got a dark feel too. Love the rough crescendo that builds in the song, and it just it dips right back into the vocal hook. Really a well done cover and a phenomenal way to open up this track. Really great transition into the hardest cut. It's got this great, it really feels like a funky rockabilly sound. It's a really nice element that they're working with. Just really digging that track a lot. The Devil and Mr. Jones is your third song. It's got this frenzied intro that settles into a groove. Almost got a bit of a yacht rock feel, but it's got a wonderful bass line. Really enjoyed that song. And the transition as well from that track into your fourth song, Wild, leads in with percussion. You got Jack Antonoff helping with this song a little bit. And it's probably the most polished moment on the record, I'll argue. And this song in particular, there's some other moments, but this song in particular, it reminds me of U2 when they were putting out like Octung Baby, that sound that they were working with in the early 90s. I got a lot of that, especially the guitar work. There's a couple of songs on this album where there's this feeling of minimalism in the guitar, and it just reminds me of The Edge and what he was doing again in that early 90s stage with that band. I really like that sound. I will admit it. I love U2. It's not a popular opinion. I get a lot of crap from a lot of people for it, and I don't know if I've ever admitted it on the channel, but I freaking love U2. I love Bono. I love The Edge, Adam, Larry. I love them all. Fabulous band in U2, so I like that I'm hearing that influence on this record. Your fifth song, My Babe, really nice pullback. It's a great mellow end of the A side, but it builds into this just kind of funky feel. Honestly, this song reminded me of what the Rolling Stones were doing on Exile on Main Street. And I think that's what's so much fun about this record is that you get a guy like Britt Daniel who, there's this quote, he's talking about Eric Clapton and how he never really got it, what he was doing, necessarily solo work, Cream, but, you can feel the influence, the impact of this, of classic rock on this record. It's not a classic rock record, but the foundation is there, and it's so interesting the way that Britt was able to navigate that dynamic. I think it's the most interesting thing about this record. Your sixth song, Feels All Right. You flip that over and start the B-side with this thing, and it's just this perfect groove to start it. Leads into your seventh song, On the Radio. Great piano intro, like the bluesy rock that he's working with on that track. And then another kind of like pullback moment, mellow moment on this album, your eighth song, Astral Jacket, is just a phenomenal moment. Really dig that song. Just got that breezy 70s California rock feel, and it's working really well for Britt on that song. Leads into your penultimate track, Satellite. It's all over the place. It's honestly, this song reminded me a little bit of Genesis, and I think that maybe excites some listeners of old school Spoon. You get kind of that experimental, progressive feel in that song. There's some moments where they're harking back to some of that earlier stuff a tiny bit, but overall, this is very much a new energy and a new sound that I'm loving, and it leads into your final track, Lucifer on the Sofa. Breezy yacht rock feel on this song. I'm really feeling Bono in the vocal element there, and just overall a U2 feel in that song. This record is remarkable. I'm really impressed by this project, and like I said, this is a very, very early on contender for album of the year. Gotta vinyl please this big time. Really enjoy Spoon. Really enjoy this record, and I hope you do as well. Please like this video, share it, and subscribe to the channel. Do all the things to help me blow this project up in 2022, and stay tuned throughout the week for more album reviews. We will see you next time on the Beat Sessions.